ladies, gentlemen, non-binaries alike. Welcome to a very proud tradition here on the dubtalkpodcast, our annual Valentine's Day episode. I'm sure many of you are looking for that special someone to share life's more intimate moments with. Maybe you even want two at once! Well, no worries. This stud muffin's got you covered. In more ways than one. Oh my. Just follow the advice from the hosts on this very special episode, and you too will be fending off teachers and siblings left and right. First and foremost though, the safety rules. The following episode may contain language and subject material that is not suitable for younger audiences. Listener discretion is highly advised. Secondly, there will definitely be spoilers for Domestic Girlfriend and any other romantic anime being discussed. If you haven't finished the show yet, we highly recommend doing so before continuing. Thirdly, the opinions and love advice of the hosts on this episode are those of the individuals and do not necessarily reflect the Dub Talk podcast as a whole. And as a secret bit of romantic advice from yours truly, don't be afraid to spice things up in the bedroom with a few special accessories. Just make sure that you know how to use them ahead of time. Trust me on this, there's nothing worse than getting a special toy and not knowing how to use it or it not working the way you wanted it to. Good. It's better to test things out to be on the safe side. I did not think this through at all. So one of you guys please call 911 or the fire department. Ow. Ow.
What's happening, friends, fans, and fam, and welcome to another episode of Dub Talk, the podcast where a group of friends with Stockholm Syndrome get together to discuss the latest, greatest, and trashiest English dubs. Coming right out the gate, fam. We're coming at you hard.
It is so fucking Stockholm Syndrome. Oh, God damn it.
Love it so much. I never want to leave. We never want to leave. We're here forever. We're here for life.
Keep me here forever in this beautiful cage. Tonight, it's our traditional Valentine's Day episode where I'm joined again by members of the Cage crew, Noah and Steph.
Yeah.
I would regained just what? Okay, sorry. Please interrupt my intro, Noah, to say whatever you're gonna say.
This chocolate isn't gonna eat itself. I was going to ask you, would you like some of this delicious chocolate I've got?
Only if you laced it with roofies.
Absolutely.
Oh, perfect. I'll take 10.
You know they call it that because when you wake up, you find yourself on the roof.
Wah, wah, wah.
That was bad.
Noah brought candy. You haven't seen me in a while. I got like 4 boxes of wine stashed up for y'all.
Bitch, you haven't been here in months.
I know. I've been a little busy,
What the fuck?
with my real life trash.
That's right.
Well, tonight it's our traditional Valentine's Day episode where I'm joined again by members of the Cage crew, Noah and Steph, and I have regained the reins to throw us back into the dumpster after last year when Stephanie took over and let us out of the garbage bin.
Because sometimes we have to get out of the garbage bin, alright?
No.
It's good sometimes, but let's fucking face it. The only thing we need with this Valentine's Day episode is pure, unadulterated, hot flaming garbage.
Welcome back to normalcy, friends. What could we possibly throw at you that's more outrageous than our usual reverse harem?
Oh.
Well, strap in or on, friends. Because it's time for one of the most controversial anime from 2019. Did you guess what it is? Domestic Girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Lord.
You know what I'm here for? 2 sisters. Woohoo!
I think we need to have a conversation with Jenny when we're done with this episode.
Oh, no. No, what happens in the cage stays in the cage. This isn't getting out. This is not going online. This isn't going anywhere. This stays here.
Not even on Pornhub, where this should probably be trending.
Oh, absolutely.
Not that I've seen anything like that lately.
Noah, you forget what we're about. This shit will be everywhere.
What are you talking about? No, I was informed that Cage Crew episodes were to be locked in they were going to be put on a floppy disk. Not even a USB drive, a floppy disk, locked in a waterproof safe and thrown off of a bridge until it sinks to the bottom of the ocean.
No, where the fuck have you been the past 4 years when we record these?
I don't know. I kind of blocked those out, actually.
I know you blocked out Brothers Conflict. I know that.
Something about a talking squirrel and
no, not
Jerry
blacked
Jewell
out,
was the best brother.
I said blocked out.
I said blacked out.
Anyway.
All right, so
Gigi, I'm sorry, but I'm ready for some education here. I think I need some education about the show that we're talking about. Can you inform us, please?
Let her
I will, because I just put on my teacher outfit. So you guys, somebody has to put on a maid outfit.
Gigi
Somebody's
Sensei.
Gotta put on cat ears, or somebody has to put on library glasses. You decide what trope you want to be.
Even better, turn the library into a secretary.
Ooh, under that desk.
Heck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, this is trash night, basically, so you're in for a lot of this tonight.
Have they not been here?
If you are not familiar with our
are?
Valentine's Day episodes, generally 9 times out of 10, it's been full of garbage. It's so
this
much
year is
fucking
no exception.
references. It's not even funny.
All right, Domestic Girlfriend aired in the winter of 2019 and brought us 12 episodes of not so pure, unadulterated romance, I guess, sort of.
No.
Sentai Filmworks dubbed this last year, and if you haven't been able to choose your lady, here's a quick synopsis. Well, okay, forget that. I'm gonna do geometry because now I'm wearing the teacher outfit, Gigi Sensei.
Oh, man.
You got your boy Natsuo, okay? Here's your one line. You gotta draw it to the next girl. He's in love with his sensei, Hina. But even though he's hot for teacher, he sleeps with some rando girl he meets named Rui. There's your other line. But surprise, they both become his stepsisters because his dad pulls a marmalade boy. And did I mention that they are sisters? Whoever will Natsuo choose. And as a special bonus, 2 more girls get added to his harem. It's a goddamn dumpster fire. You're welcome.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is what high school is all about.
My high school life was not a harem, thank you very much.
My high school life was not like this.
Nope. Not to this extent.
Well, Noah's apparently was, because he's being quiet for once.
The very talkative and very animated Noah suddenly silenced by the memories of high school and his many wonderful harems.
Anything that you have heard about me being involved in a 6-way is absolutely a lie. Lies, I tell you.
Well, okay.
It was that Momo girl, I tell you.
It was... God damn it. Anyway.
All right, fam, we're going to talk about some actors. We're going to talk about some staff. And I'm going to wing this off the top of my head because it's been friggin' almost a year since I've hosted one of these.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute for you.
Yeah.
Can I add just one comment about the production side of things?
Oh, God.
Yes, please do.
Is that for those who have been following anime studios recently, you may have noticed this studio come up recently. This whole thing was put together by studio Diomedia, and some of you may not recognize that name, but those of you who follow your trashy, very, very unpure shows will probably recognize that because they've done shows like last year they've done Chio School Road, they've done Personal Favorite Fuka, they did Honda-kun. So basically they have a reputation for doing shows that aren't really very church appropriate. Let's put it that way.
Didn't they do Diabolic Lovers?
No, we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that show.
That's all I talk about.
That's all we care about. Well, Chio School Road is funny and wonderful, but Diabolic Lovers is the true winner in all of this.
Even Chio School Road, which was funny, still had an excess amount of fan service and panty shots, like more than your average comedy.
Point still stands. we are here for Diabolic Lovers.
I would also like to say this OP slaps, and you can find it on Spotify because it's all I've been listening to for the past 2 days.
That is a rockin' piano, indeed.
I thought the OP was the best part of this anime. Oh God, did I say that already?
Well,
Gigi's hot takes.
This is a show with a literary club, with a teacher who sleeps with a former student, and a wonderful bartender, just an absolutely fabulous bartender. And you're telling me that
he is the best character in the show, by the way.
I forgot to
Arguably.
tell you that there are spoilers, even though you probably heard this great disclaimer, which I'm sure I'll be recording later, which I still don't know what it's going to be.
We could always
many
rope in our significant
possibilities.
others like last year. I don't fucking know.
What is going to be?
I got an idea now.
Oh no!
I'll see him in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Hi, Itchy.
Bring Itchy into it. Fuck yeah. Anyway.
All right. Let's talk about some staff, fam. We have a lovely director and a lovely writer for this trash pile. Our director is Mr. John Swayze, who I know is an actor, but apparently he goes back in time directing a lot of anime, including Air Gear, Welcome to the NHK, and my personal favorite, which I'll never talk about, Fibrain Season 2.
Fibrain!
I know!
Gigi!
It's just us two, the only two people in the world who have ever seen Fibrain.
Maybe Jet. Maybe Jet. I can see Jet possibly watching it. However, Gigi, I'm saying this right the fuck now. TLDR, we need to do Fibrain episode.
Oh my god, I'm in.
Hell yeah. Anyway, writer.
Our writer is Miss Holly Segarra. Hopefully I pronounced your name correctly. If I didn't, please let me know in the comments below. Who has also written Real Girl Seasons 1 and 2, Haikyuu Seasons 2 and 3, and Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon Season 2?
Yes, it is. Stop doing it.
Okay, so
it's always wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon.
So rather new writer on the Sentai side then.
Yes, it seems like she took all of Caitlin Barr's stuff that Caitlin had started and like continued it.
That makes sense considering Caitlin's over in Dallas now. But
yes, not all of it, but I know
go.
Caitlin did Haikyuu.
Right.
Okay. All right, so I guess in order to start talking about this, we're just gonna jump right into it.
Yay!
God.
Head first into that trash.
Head first into the dumpster fire, fam. Does anybody want to say something first, or do you want me to just jump?
I don't understand why people really like this show.
You don't? You don't understand?
No. This is my journey watching this show, okay? And
right.
some of it is documented on our fucking Cage Crew DM chat, with Megan included, mind you. Megan couldn't join us.
We miss you, Megan.
Megan
Hi,
couldn't
Megan.
join us this year.
She's here in spirit.
Yes, she's here. She's always here in spirit. With all of the fucking cracks and everything. Anyway, this is my journey with the show, alright? Starting out, like, okay, I know this is a trash fire. Let's see how this goes. So I know what I'm expecting. Wait a second. It's actually trying to attempt and be serious in an interesting way and have funny moments. Episode 4 or 5. Okay, I think I kind of like this in an unironic way. Cool. And then we get to like fucking whatever episode. Okay, legit content warning for a reason. There's masturbation involved.
Yes. That would be
self-love.
the wonderful
self-care.
episode 7.
Thank you. Episode 7. Once that comes into play, and it's like, oh, there's the trash that I had been looking for this entire fucking time, and then it's like, well, there it goes. I don't really like it anymore. That was my weird journey.
You got trash in the very first episode when the first line of dialogue was and like something like, and this was how I lost my virginity.
The exact line. Let me read the exact line for it. It was a few minutes ago, I lost my virginity.
But legit, after
just
that
a few
point,
minutes?
To which point, all of us in the audience were thinking to ourselves, you'll find it somewhere.
Oh god, no, but legit, after that one line, at least for the rest of that episode and a few episodes more, it was like, okay, it's trying to actually attempt to be good, and then dumpster fire. This was my weird journey. And look, here's my other thing too, though. My tolerance and patience level on a lot of things, including shows, is very high.
Yes.
So I've been desensitized to a lot of fucking things. I have watched School Days, boys and girls.
School Days. Valentine's Day next year?
Yay! Wait, there's no dub for that.
Just wait.
Okay.
We'll see. Anyway, I wanted to explain my weird journey because it's like, what the fuck is this show? I don't understand why it was so popular.
Well, I watched this show with Itchy, like way before I was supposed to. And I was screaming at like the entire thing, as I like to do with my trash.
Yep.
And then he watched the last episode before I did, and the whole time he goes, "You're not gonna like this ending. You're not gonna like this ending.
No, the ending is kind of bad, actually.
I'm gonna set this up for you. You're not gonna like this ending." And lo and behold, I hated the ending.
Yeah, it's not a good ending.
And I was just like, are you fucking kidding me right now? I just screamed and sort of enjoyed this for 11 episodes, and you're gonna give me this trash pile?
Are you kidding me, Gigi? After all of that build-up, you weren't satisfied with the very conclusive, very definitive, very satisfying ending that the show ends off on?
No.
Read the manga.
That's what this all is. There are many anime out there. Many anime. Sometimes it's because of production, sometimes because there's not enough material, but for whatever reason, a lot of anime end off with the vague note, you want to know what happens next? You have to go out and read the manga.
We kind of had this last year with Yona, actually, too.
We had it so bad with Yona last year.
Yona is a huge offender of that.
It took until
bad.
Very last episode for the final guy to show up,
Yep.
and then it's like, okay, finally we got our group together. Now let's go beat the bad guy, and final credits roll, and I'm still waiting for them to finish it.
I know.
I've
been reading the manga ever since.
Well, all that being said, you know, dumpster fire or not, depending on how your tastes run, I always say that sometimes a good dub can save a really bad show.
Yes.
True.
And here's where I got confused. So I can't tell if the choices that were made in this dub were done purposefully or they were just done to get it out. So here's what I'm saying. This show had so much over-the-top drama in it. A lot of the scenes do not have any dialogue. In fact, some of the trashiest and most dramatic scenes don't have dialogue.
Yep.
So when there is dialogue in them, it's like, are you going to make it super over the top soap opera-y? Like, what are you going to do here? Melodramatic, anything? It just, to me, most of the time, sounded flat and awkward. But here's where I'm torn, because is this a conscious choice? Because most of the characters, I'm not saying the acting, I'm saying the characters that were written in the manga that got turned into the anime are also flat and awkward. Because they're teenagers, they're high schoolers, they don't really know what's going on, and if they do know what's going on, it's like, where do your minds go?
Now now the question on that about was this intentional or not, I'm gonna say no, for the exact reason that we have plenty of even recent dubbed anime that features melodramatic high school settings where the acting was wonderful, was like really captures the emotion while being sincere about it. Look at Bloom Into You from last year. That was also high melodrama, also kind of taboo, without dipping into the realm of I don't enjoy the acting here, or this sounds stilted and flat. So what we got here is we have a show that is trying to be both a comedy and be melodramatic at the same time, because a lot of their moments where, like, let's look at what's a good example here? Okay, episode 2, I think it is. We have characters who are trying to get Ryu to come out of her shell, to, you know, be more conversational, like. And how do they
I will admit,
in the classroom.
I admit that I love that. I actually really love that scene. It got a really nice chuckle out of me.
It was great, wasn't it? And we had our main character who's basically doing impressions of 5 different characters and being way over the top. That's comedic. Like, that's not gonna be that's not the melodramatic parts you're thinking of. That's the funny parts. The problem, you got a dub that's so good at the funny parts. I think this excels way better at being a comedy than it does being a drama.
Yeah, I love the comedic moments in this show. I think Gigi, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the point you're trying to get to is possibly maybe the source material and what they had to work with. It may not be the greatest.
Well,
at least that's what I think. But
I watched it in Japanese too, and it's like a completely different show.
Oh, definitely.
Really?
But here's another thing with it though. I mean, like, the casting choices were interesting. I'll talk more about that when we talk about the other characters. I think that the casting choices fit more if it were a conscious choice to make everybody sound kind of awkward. Some of the line reads felt kind of odd for me, but here's what kind of, like, hit me over the head with the big Harley Quinn mallet, okay? The writing was so literal, and the dialogue sounded so stilted to me. It sounded so formal, and like some of the words that were chosen, I felt like they were just like very literal to the Japanese translation.
Okay.
This is how it is for like, I think like 80% of the anime. Now there's 20% where it like goes totally balls up to the wall, like trying to be funny, memey kind of dialogue.
We've got some of our favorite lines written, and we'll reference them throughout the night.
I have a few written
Exactly.
ones too.
Like, and I love that stuff. Like, that's what I love, and I think that's what a show like Domestic Girlfriend needs, because it is over the top and trying to be melodramatic and trashy and comedic at the same time. And I think it needed more of that and less of like the literal line translation.
Like taking maybe a little bit more liberties with the translation.
Exactly.
Rather
And I
than
mean,
literal.
like,
Okay.
when it did get funny, it came out of nowhere, and then it went right back to the other tone.
Like,
and I was just
the
like,
best part of the show, aside from fucking Masaki. Masaki's my favorite character, by the way. We'll talk about him later. But some of my favorite moments, believe it or not, are the comedic moments. Like the scene that wow, I almost said Andrew. Noah is describing.
Mina
Noah.
is the best character ever, and Hifumi is my waifu, and I just absolutely love growing my Keanu Reeves beard out so much. And come here, Stephanie, baby, let me snuggle you.
Oh yes, all of the hugs and cuddles, yes. Oh yes, please.
Suddenly Noah is now in Domestic Girlfriend.
There it is. No, but
Hi,
like,
Jenny.
I will cook for you every night.
yay. No, but no, but the scene in episode 2 that Noah was talking about, where Natsuo is trying to help Rui, like, try and be a little less blunt and socially awkward and trying to make friends, like, that really, like, I laughed my ass off at it. There were other points where all of a sudden, whether it was something that was actually a comedic moment or like, I will admit, some of the lines that would come out of left field, like, all of a sudden I'd have one of those moments where I would just have a quick little burst of laughter and just write it down, because I'm like, why is this a thing? Like,
It's true, but I think the whole thing should be, why is this a thing? Like, this is, it needs more camp. It needs more trash.
I mean,
Could...
you need, like, with a show like this, I think it needed to go one way or the other. Like,
it needed to go more Diabolic Lovers, more blood, and less Diabolic Lovers.
there it is.
Ouch. I'm between the two of them. But the problem, we would have, I mean, it feels like two different shows kind of smashed together, but those comedic moments kind of die down by the second half of the show. Once we've introduced our characters and we've had our goofy interactions and we start getting into, let's cover some of the topics here. Infidelity, banging your teacher, banging your stepsister, banging your club leader, banging the girl who slept with 30 different guys. Once we've gotten to that point there, we kind of...
He just
This
heard,
guy-
like, I heard the paper shake, and I'm like, oh god, what the fuck did he write down?
Oh, I got
list?
How many are pages? This show's
The
about a
Yakuza.
novelist. I wrote a novel for this entire show.
Oh, sweet lord.
Wah, wah.
There was a lot to write about. But this entire... Okay, when you have a dub that's this comedic, you're going to remember those parts. And I'm... As long as it captures the spirit of what that scene was going for, I'm okay with that. It doesn't really change what happened. Like, there's a scene where Masaki is banging on a drum in a thong, completely out of left field, and shouts out to the crowd, well, since you're here, you might as well get down and shake your ass.
Yep, I wrote that down as one of the lines that caught my attention. That was one of those moments where I just had that burst of laughter. But, like, Masaki's the best character, and it makes so much sense for him to say that.
But then you take that scene where, you know, we're laughing, and then a few minutes later we're having this intimate conversation about how, you know, two characters shouldn't get together. They think like we're not good for each other, or this, you know, get away from me, basically. That's kind of hard to do properly. I think one of the only shows I've seen that does that properly is Ouran High School Host Club, and even then it faltered in cases of there. So I guess the best way to go about fixing the dub here wasn't so much the writing, it was in how to direct the characters, because if you're sincere, if your acting sounds sincere and doesn't sound flat or stilted, you can be funny one scene and sincere the next, and melodramatic the next. And we just didn't get that consistently across the board.
I think it's a mix of both the direction and the writing in this case, because I didn't watch the Japanese, but it's sounding like the English dub is almost a one-for-one translation, if that sounds accurate, yes?
In the dramatic moments.
Yes.
Okay. So, I think being a more one-for-one translation, I think that's written that way, that's partially the downfall here. But I also do agree with Noah's point of it, that some of the direction, like, you could have strayed a little bit from the serious melodramatic. To be fair, it's probably what was called for in the show, and to be fair, I understand that that's the conscious choice to go with. But yeah, some of the direction may have been stilted for some characters, or just didn't come off very well. And I would imagine that a show like this is a very difficult and interesting show to even work with to begin with.
Yeah, so, there's not a template of like any other show to point to, because there's archetypes in this, there's lots of stereotypes, but the combination of them isn't something you usually see in other shows. I also think
that there's sometimes the subject matter that's involved in the show that some people may not be as comfortable with compared to other people who are okay with full-blown trash. Hi, everybody. But it's a hard show to tackle with all of the things that Noah listed off a second ago, all of those complex moments. It might rub people the wrong way too.
All right, so we've talked a lot about the writing and the directing, how we feel that it comes like and makes the show as a whole. Let's start digging down deep. Let's go down deep. Let's get in, fam.
Let's go dumpster diving.
Let's talk about some performances. So what about your friends? Will they stand their ground? Will they let you down? Yeah.
Broski.
Who gets that reference?
Broski.
If you want to be my lover, you got to get with my friends.
God damn it.
That was a different reference.
A completely different reference that I picked up on.
All right, well, I want to talk about my favorite character in the show who didn't really have a big part in it, but he was my favorite character. And
he stopped the panty thief. That's a huge role.
And some other things that were going on. So let's talk about my boo, Alex.
Yay.
He's my favorite character in the show. He's like the half American transfer student. And then let's also talk about Fumiya, who is our boy Natsuo's BFF for life.
Mm-hmm.
So Alex is played by Blake Shepard. You may know him as my husbando in several different trash anime, like Laito from Diabolic Lovers, Iki from Amnesia, and also Soma from Food Wars. Fumiya is played by Andrew Love, who played Takeo in My Love Story, Yuma in Diabolic Lovers More Blood, and strangely enough, I remember him as Akio from Clannad. I don't know. These are my examples because I watched the weirdest shit ever. So just real quickly on these guys, I just want to point out something weird about Andrew Love, who's one of my more favorite voice actors.
Yeah.
But he sounded really strange in this. Like,
I kind of liked it though.
He specifically pitched his voice up higher so he could sound younger and nerdier.
Yes.
For like 80%. And then for 20%, he forgot what he was doing and reverted back to regular deep voice.
I heard that a
Andrew
couple
Love.
times. No, but I admittedly kind of liked it because Andrew Love, if you are familiar with Andrew Love's tone and his range, he ain't a nerdy fucking high schooler. He's tough man kind of deal, right? So first of all, him playing a nerdy character like this, like, bravo. I loved it. I'm like, holy shit, this is playing completely against type here. It was great.
Wait, are you saying that every character in anime who has glasses has to be a nerdy character?
They could also be a sexy nerd.
And this guy is definitely a sexy nerd, right? I think that... Look at that character design on the screen. Like, total stud right there.
Noah, did we really watch the same show? I'm debating on who you are and why I'm friends with you right now.
It's not about the... Well, ouch. But secondly, it's not about the appearance. It's about what's inside. Yes. And this is a guy who would take a bullet for his best friend. That is sexy right there.
He is the best kind of friend ever. I want him as my best friend. Like, he's amazing.
You can have him, because apparently I'm not good enough to be your friend anymore.
Oh my god, here's like our domestic quarrel, Andrew.
No.
Okay.
No. Noah, you're not my best friend anymore. You're my boyfriend, because apparently you're Andrew now.
Come on, could I... No. I'm sorry. Andrew, I love you, man. I love you like a brother. I would take a bullet for you, but I ain't being you.
Oh my god.
I've cultivated a very distinct personality, and I can't go to the Mina fan club groups. I'm sorry, I just can't do that. I can't stand
To
Mina.
quote a line in the show that I wrote down, that's some hot tea right there.
I wrote that too! Yes! That's like my favorite line of the show.
See, really? mine is the whole get down and shake that ass one. That's my favorite. But anyway.
My god. Well, you know me, I'm all about that tea. My Andrew Love tea though is again inconsistent. Like I feel like this whole show is inconsistent. I hate doing this. But I can't be like, hey, everything's fucking sunshine and roses, and I'm just gonna be like, I don't mean disrespect to anyone or anything that I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know, but this is like a review. It's not gonna be 10 out of 10 for everything.
No.
A Starlight review.
No.
I wasn't on that episode.
I still never finished that show.
No?
I don't think anyone did.
I finished it begrudgingly, and it's not a plot-based show, so it's not like you have to finish it.
Anyway.
All right. So, there's that friend. And then we have Alex, who is my favorite character. I don't know why. I think I just like the half American transfer students, but he's so freaking animated and cute and loud, and he's 100% stud.
Here's the thing that kind of, I'll admit, Blake Shepherd is so good because he's that fun, animated personality that Alex is. The one thing I'm not a fan of, though, and I already know that Gigi's gonna fight me. Why do they make him all dude bro-y to be the supposed typical American?
Because he's American.
That's just how Americans act.
No, it's not.
There are 8 million Americans on... Yes, there are a lot of Americans. And yes, we all talk like this. We all talk like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
Oh, sweet.
Do you know that I got called out today at work from somebody in my California office because I sounded more California than people who live there?
Oh my
God. Talk about a dude bro.
That's hilarious.
And I was like, I watch Clueless way too many times. It's not my fault. I'm trying to get it corrected. But yeah, these boys are good boys. Blake Shepherd was one of the people who I felt had the most consistent performance, but then again, he was only in like 4 episodes.
And plus,
I was sad.
Plus, Alex's character and personality is one of the few that is supposed to be consistently like loud and animated, which that's just the character.
Exactly. But I mean, it worked.
Yep.
It needed it. The show needed it at this point when the drama was off the rails.
Oh yeah.
When everybody was fucking everybody
Fair
else.
Point.
It needed that breath of fresh air. It needed that bit of relief sometimes, and that's where Alex came into the picture, just being his freaking bonkers self and giving us a laugh with all of the stinking melodrama. That's what his purpose is, and I appreciate that.
And it is a shame that he did not show up more, because you could have had an interesting dynamic with him upsetting the love triangle as we had it.
Yes!
I wish he was... No,
but
here's what I wish. I wish he has been a part of the show since the beginning.
I don't.
Yes.
No, I honestly don't, because I don't know. I feel like we would have gotten tired of him a little too quickly with
fair.
his, puppy on heroin personality if he had been in the show throughout the entire.
That's fair, because Natsuo's other two friends, who aren't as animated as Alex is, but are pretty out there, I did kind of get annoyed with them partway through, so you have a point.
Look, I didn't get annoyed by Mike Haimoto's character in Tada Never Falls in Love, who is basically the same person as this guy.
Okay, but that was a very different kind of show.
Yeah,
it
like
was.
tone-wise.
Very different
For
kind of
sure.
show.
But as for the actual acting, I gotta agree. And I'm sorry, Blake Shepard's entire persona, like, he just sounded like he was having fun.
Yeah.
And I would have thought that for a character that was this over the top and stereotypically American, that it would have been hard to keep it contained. It would have come off as very, as very unconvincing or even annoying. But he's consistently annoying. But it's just too lovable,
Yeah,
he's like,
it really is.
What does he do? He, he's a white guy who's into Asian chicks, obviously, and he's got a lot of misunderstandings about Japanese culture. That's fine in doses, because it's kind of fun sometimes to watch Americans get made fun of the way that we make fun of other cultures. We deserve it.
It's true. We do deserve it sometimes. Us and
Who
our
rides a
bullshit.
bicycle through a school? Who does
us
that?
And our bullshit,
Al.
yeah.
Yeah.
Your friend Al.
He
Oh, God.
he shortens the main character's name down to Nat.
Yep.
To Nat King Cole. Nat. That's it.
Nat. Yep.
So do I want to swat him with a fly swatter? Yes.
Not that kind of Nat. No.
Oh,
That's
no.
in the Dojin spinoff.
Oh, okay. I'm
That's in
glad
the-
you read my Dojin. Thank you for that $2.
Yeah. Yes, in the episode 11 where they go on their class trip and Alex gets so drunk that he starts making out with them, that's the spinoff
That
we
was
deserved.
good. I like
That's
that
the
bit.
OVA we deserve.
Random drunk off of what the fuck was it? He accidentally got drunk off of.
It was like a spice on their food that was
Yeah.
fermented, I guess.
Something
it was.
like
Here's the
that.
problem with this show. This is a production thing. This has nothing to do with the
Yeah,
dub.
this is
But
more production
Diomedia is a cheap-ass studio
Yes.
because they don't animate anything very well, and they always skimp on anything that involves a lot of movement. So if you missed small details, it's probably because they didn't animate them at all. They had like one shot, like one frame, and then that's it. Like there's a scene where they have a school club festival. They have the the midterm festival. It's like 11 slides and a flute solo. That's it. There's no movement. It's just, here's a montage of everything
Yep.
we did.
And then that's it.
And it's over.
Yep.
I wanted to see the full
We didn't get
performance.
any fun stuff with the cultural festival, and I was a little bit disappointed by that.
We got one thing. We got some guy on stage being the Cowardly Lion from The Wizard of Oz.
Yes, I picked up on it. I'm like, yes. Cowardly Lion,
Noah.
let's fucking go.
Noah, can we talk about BL some more?
Yes, please.
Oh,
Let's
we can
go back
talk
to
about.
it.
We will, but that's for the Patreon only podcast. For this one,
But I want to talk about
the
BL some more
The
because
Patreon only podcast that doesn't exist.
yeah, that's my show. I have the Patreon only podcast.
that's what I'm talking about. I need to find out how to suck up to your bosses and get on the Trash podcast sometime, because that sounds like a lot of fun.
Don't worry, I have your number, boo.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, that's wrong.
Whoops.
Well, I still want to talk about BL, so I want to talk about the king of BL himself, and that
Yay!
would be Mr. David Wald, who plays our boy Hot for Teacher, while I'm Hot for Teacher, Reiji.
Yes.
There's your Udapri reference for this episode. And while we're
No,
while
no,
we're
no,
Hot
no,
for
no, 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 no,
Teacher-
no, no, no. Not an
What-
Udapri
what?
reference. He's playing another fucking Reiji, first of all.
Oh
I don't know.
shit!
I
You're
don't know
right.
what that's a reference to.
Diabolic lovers, bitches.
Diabolic lovers. You right, fam.
The fun
So,
police is back.
The fun police is literally back,
Yes, he
guys.
is.
Get me out of here!
While we're hot for teacher, let's talk about the other teacher in the show, but not the one you're thinking of. Let's talk about Shu.
That slut, that fucking slut, that
He's
man
such
horse
a
slut.
fucking asshole. God, I hate Shu. Anyway, so Shu's played by Adam Gibbs. So let's just keep this going. Adam Gibbs plays a lot of vampires. He plays Ruki in Diabolic Lovers More Blood, aka Steph's vanilla boyfriend.
Yes, my
He
vanilla
plays
boyfriend.
Yuki in Devil's Line, who wants to go out and jerk off in the hallway. And he plays the best BL boy, Ryoma, in Love Stage. God bless.
Yes.
Set your pink elephants on fire, my good man. Speaking of Love Stage.
Gigi,
What?
did you just find a way to tie in the masturbation scene from this show and the hallway scene from Devil's Line in one line of dialogue?
Yep,
Yes,
sure
she
did.
fucking
Okay.
Wow.
It's what they pay me the big bucks for. It's
I
where
am
all your
impressed.
Patreon money goes.
Wow.
Except it doesn't.
Except it doesn't. I haven't seen a penny of it.
We'll see.
David Wald plays Ragey in Diabolic Lovers, my boy Ray in Love Stage, and his favorite role, Bulat, in Akame ga Kill. All right, I'm hot for teacher, fam. I gotta tell you that David Wald's Ragey, you know because it's me. You know because it's me.
See, I'm likely to agree with you on this because it's also me. Here's one thing that kind of bugged me about this, and this is more about the character itself, I think, than David Wald as this performance. So very early on when we meet him, and Natsuo gets dragged in to join the literature club, like
Yay. As Reiji says, you made a contractual obligation to be my slave.
First of all, that's not what I'm getting to. I was okay with this. Again, hi everybody, my name is Stephanie, I'm in the trash sometimes. No, but like, the scene where he tries to get Natsuo and the club president to kiss for some fucking reason. Because it's like, you're a fucking teacher. Why would you do that?
Yes.
Why
because
would you?
This is trash. This is trash.
No. Well, okay, there is trash, but here, I think I'm with Lilac in that I kind of draw the line when it comes to unhealthy relationships with power dynamics. If you're a teacher to high school students, you do not get to do that kind of thing. No. Like, we're already teetering the line with the whole student-teacher relationship thing. Yeah. That's a bi-consensual relationship going on. But this right here was like, it made me not like the character right out of the gate. Now, I already hated him because he wears sandals to school. Nobody should wear sandals to school.
That I was not about. No sandals ever. He even wore sandals at home.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine.
But I mean, like, in terms of like a character introduction in that episode, like, it doesn't paint the character in the best light. However, the character, I think, gets a lot better, honestly. But granted, even with that scene that I was not a fan of, I mean, David Wald knocked this role out of the park. Like, he was just so much fun. Like, that was my note about him being a sleazeball or whatever.
I mean, I wrote down yes, daddy.
Because it's Gigi.
Hi, GW.
We miss you.
Hi.
Right before we started, Gigi was reminiscing how she's. Gigi was like, reminiscing the interview we had with him. But anyway, I mean, as a character, not the greatest introduction, and I'm not a fan of that. But that's on the show.
But his real introduction was when he was talking to Natsuo up on the roof, and they almost made out.
It's the same episode, though. It's the same episode. I will say that bit was also good, but you know what? But my point still stands. Like, you don't try to make your students fucking kiss, and in front of you. I was worried that he was about to like get off on that shit.
That's the source material. You can't do anything about it.
I know. I'm just.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can cut material that was in the source material.
Not if you're dubbing this.
Not if you're dubbing this.
Your anime.
Oh, okay. Oh, no, okay, you're right. I thought you were talking about in adapting from the manga to the anime.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, you can. But not when you're... But she's saying, like, even when it's already made and you're going to dub it, you can't. I can understand that. Again, that's just a complaint I have about the character and the show itself, not the dub.
Well, okay, so
that's just my general complaint there. I had to bring it up, though. I really didn't want to.
But because I do want to give full props to David because it's a hard kind of character to play. Yes. Because you think he's going to be a sleazeball right out of the gate because every teacher that we've met up to this point has been a sleazeball.
Yep.
But he turns out to be really important because not only is he the only kind of good teacher, he also becomes a mentor to Natsuo because turns out he's his favorite author. Oh my god.
Plot
and
twist.
That is I mean, that I know some people were like, where does this whole, he's an author thing come from? It kind of came out of left field. It was weaved into the show because Natsuo from the very beginning is established as wanting to be a writer. Mm-hmm. Yes, there's probably a little bit of author wish fulfillment in there. Successful mangaka writes a story about a kid who wishes that he was a published author. That doesn't feel self-insert fanfiction at all.
No,
but David, I don't know. What is it?
No, I'm kidding.
No, give props to David Wall because when he does get sincere lines, like he has to, I think it was actually in episode 11, he has a very heart-to-heart with Natsuo about, I'm not taking on an apprentice, and you have to make sure that if you want to become a writer full-time, it has to be about...
for it,
you have to... learning from me won't do you any good, and this is something that I agree about a lot of internships. Mm-hmm. You may learn some insider information or about how publishers work, but you will never become good as a talent unless you cultivate that just through suffering. And he even asked them, do you want to write novels, or do you just want the satisfaction of being an author? Two very different things.
Yeah, that whole interaction between Natsuo and Reiji, I loved that, honestly.
Yeah.
Well,
and that's a part where the sincerity of the show comes shining through.
Absolutely.
They didn't play it for laughs. They played it.
Yes.
It
was one of the few times where the sincerity of the show comes through.
Yeah, it's like, and it had nothing to do with banging girls, so maybe that's what the show needed more of.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, all right, it needed more boys banging boys, I agree. But for this moment, that's not what the show was about.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Like, I think that David Wald's performance as the teacher in here, like, it brought that level of sincerity.
Yes.
I think it also brought a level of integrity because the parts that needed to be serious were serious. Mm-hmm. The parts that were played for camp and trash were camp and trash. And I think that as an actor, he knows how to do that very well. Yes. So he brought that to this character, which is exactly what the dub needed at this point, because now we're about a little more than halfway through the show, and all we've gotten is like geometry banging stuff. So now we have to bring in something else. And literally, I was watching this with Chris, and he had seen it because he was like 20 seconds ahead of me or something, because we watched this over like, we both press play at the same time when we talk on the phone because we're far away. So this is how we live our lives. And he's he's screaming, and I'm like, then I start screaming, and he's like, oh, you got it now. And I was like, yeah, boy. I was like, we good, fam. Like, it came at a point in the show where it needed to have like a breakout performance. Mm-hmm. And I think that did it. Yeah. Now, as for Shu, played by Adam Gibbs,
the fucking slut.
He was like the smoothest friggin' man whore asshole.
Yes.
That made me hate him even more.
I know people like him in real life, and that's exactly what they sound like.
Yep.
So bravo.
And that's a problem. That's a problem in the show. Like, don't take lessons from this guy, people.
No, don't be a shoe. Never be a shoe.
Never be a shoe. Make that a t-shirt. Don't be a shoe.
Don't be a shoe.
And then there's just a picture of a shoe for some reason.
Even if I tell you to step on me, please don't be a shoe.
Please don't.
Oh, wow. That's a dad
but like
pun.
Gigi has a very valid point about it. Like, because unfortunately, we all of us know a shoe who is a smooth fucking operator. And he just puts on this kind, gentle act. And this is exactly what the character calls for.
Adam Gibbs did not sound smarmy. No. He like fucking believed in everything that he said.
Because
every
a lot of
shitty word that came out of his shitty mouth.
Yeah, there are two-timers who are weaselly who will change their persona to try to be whatever it takes to get out of a bad situation. And then there are guys like this.
They're the ones who think that what they're doing is right.
Fine.
Basically.
It's
fine.
Adam doesn't even think what he's doing is... I'm sorry, Shu doesn't think what he's doing is right. He knows it's wrong. He has embraced it.
Right.
He's justifying what he's doing by saying, I know this is wrong, but I feel like I really want to date my ex-student. Yep. I want to go behind my wife's back, and I want to hook up with a 20-year-old.
What about the children?
He fully believes what he's doing is fine.
No, I don't think he doesn't believe what he's doing is right. He has given up on fighting he's doing.
He knows that it's wrong, but at the end of the day, he thinks it's fine.
And that he's the most composed of the entire cast. Everyone who we're going to talk about, he is the most subdued, the most laid back, the most chill, and that makes me hate his stupid face even more.
And that's the point.
Yep. He does it so well, and I'm kind of shocked because Adam Gibbs, man. Like,
now there's one scene.
Adam Gibbs being an asshole. Hell yeah.
Like, that hardly ever happened.
Because Adam Gibbs is usually like the nice guy 9 times out of 10, and then there's...
We talking about Steph's man right now.
This is my Sentai guy.
So Lilac, would you say that you want Shu to show you his talking snake puppet? Did you forget that scene?
No, I didn't forget that scene. Oh, speaking of that, I didn't know.
That was funny.
I know. I didn't know that his voice could go that high. I've never heard his voice go that high before.
And it was so weird because you had this low, subdued voice throughout the whole thing, and then we do a flashback where he's doing this Kermit. Hey there, Hina. Yep. How are you doing?
Yep. And it's like, wait. That's Adam? I have never heard him go in a high-pitched, like, falsetto voice like that before. So I'm just sitting here like, wait, what? In the many years that I have watched things that Adam Gibbs has been in, I have never seen that before in my life. So I'm like,
wait. There's a first time for everything.
I know. Just
like Natsuo had his first time in the first 30 seconds of this anime.
Not even the first 30 seconds of this anime. It was way before that. It was before we even started it.
Yes, as you were watching the opening credits where High Dive's logo came on and the word Dubcast came on the screen, at that moment, that is when Natsuo was getting it on.
Just in those few minutes.
Let's get it on.
That's all it takes. I hate to tell you, but first time, that's all it takes.
Yep. As the three of us reminisce. We're sitting here reminiscing, like, yes.
In the time it took for me to heave that sigh.
Oh, God. Oh, boy.
All right, is anybody else hot for teacher, or should we talk about what seems to be the heart and soul of this anime?
I'm just gonna say this. I love both of these performances. Cause if you can make me hate a character, aka Adam Gibbs, I love you. And then David Wald, despite the intro, but that's more on the fault of the show, not the performance. I liked it, and he did have one of the most sincere moments in the entire show.
And especially when I think when you compare some of the performances from these two to some of the other ones who we'll talk about, who admittedly did have weightier material to handle than these two did, I do think these two were definitely some of the stronger elements. If we had this level of acting throughout the whole thing, I don't think Gigi would have anything to complain about.
Yes.
About this show. In general, I can't get rid of all your complaints, but just for this show.
Maybe just this.
Yes.
I can't do anything about reality and taxes and the weather and work and everything else out there.
Yes.
The only that's all she's gonna say now anyway.
I want to get drunk. Will somebody please pour me some box wine? Do you know any good bartenders?
Fuck yeah, I do.
Do you know one whose name is Marie?
We need to go to this cafe. It's called Lamont. Let's go to Cafe Lamont right now.
Do you know a bartender whose name is Marie?
Oh, hell yeah, I do. He's
also
amazing.
known as Masaki.
Oh, is he that swishy guy who's got that porno mustache and an amazing back tattoo?
Oh, yes.
Yakuza!
I love him.
All right, fam. Let's talk about who the real best boy of this show is.
Hell yeah.
It's Marie, a.k.a. Masaki, the bartender at this lovely cafe. He is played by John Gramillion. And we're going to take it way back for this one. He plays Takashi Goto from Kadocha, my sleeper, one of my favorite dubs of all time.
Wow.
People
actually remember that show.
I know, right? He plays...
You can't watch it anywhere anymore.
You can't. It's totally gone. Just on my DVDs, which I have hoarded.
You hoard those like a dragon.
Oh, I'm never getting rid of them.
Anyway.
He also plays Bishop in Fibrain and Dracule Mihawk in One Piece because I never saw any of the rest of the stuff that he's been in, but he's been in a lot. He goes back in time, fam.
He's like back in the ADV days, I think. Yeah.
Yes. So when I was first watching this anime and only had like a name of a character and then like an actor in it, and I wasn't paying attention like at all, I was like, oh, this has got to be David Wald's character, right? Nope. Nope. But here's the thing is that I was kind of pleasantly surprised by this because I was like, okay. I was like, I'm really enjoying this. And he has like equal parts camp to him, which he needs to have because if he's one of the comic relief characters, and like we've all said, this anime does the comic relief dub real good. But his other side is that he's a fucking Yakuza.
Yep.
And he has like some hard ass shit that went on behind the scenes. And when he's telling that story that's in a flashback, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I believe it. Yeah. And then I was like, where's my spinoff? Because I totally Maji Love 1000% watched that.
Oh my god, I would love that too.
And like every one of the characters, like some of these characters don't know each other directly. Well, they do by the end of it. But every one of them goes to the bartender for like consultation or advice at some point throughout the show.
Oh, absolutely.
It's amazing.
And he talks a lot. And he's real good at it.
Yeah, I know one thing. I know one thing I really appreciate with this performance. Is obviously Marie is gay. Obviously.
No!
Yeah.
Really?
But
here's what I appreciate.
What are you
with
talking
this performance? About? They didn't make Marie go the complete route of being overly flamboyant.
They didn't?
Not Noah. There are some characters in anime, if they are gay, they're just way over the top. Like super over the top. Like, this is... and not all gay men sound like this. Some do, others don't. And Marie is in that middle ground, I think. And it's like, kind of going with the kiss him, not me argument of Surinuma not sounding like a goddamn whale when she was chubbier.
Yes.
You see where I'm kind of going with this.
I see where you're going with this.
Yeah, so I really appreciate that they didn't, with Marie, they didn't go full-on ham, full-on flamboyant. They still retained his personality in the voice without needing to go to that extent. And really, like, overdoing it and stereotyping that. So I honestly really appreciate what they did with it, and he's definitely, like, one of my favorite performances.
I mean, if you went to that 100% level, you would never believe his backstory.
Exactly. That's the whole big point.
And not only that, his entire persona requires that he's running a business. He's not only the bartender, he owns the place where they're working at. So there are scenes where he does his over-the-top kind of swishy performance, like in the episode 2 where they're kind of reenacting what they think this businesswoman that they're talking about persona's like. She's like having an affair with a married man, and they're imagining what that's like, and they start acting like the girl. But when he has to keep people in line, like in episode 9 where Shu comes into the cafe and we have our, what's it called, Neapolitan with sausage in it, he gets very professional because he's trying to keep the peace. Now that doesn't mean that he's not above throwing a quip over at them, like what does he actually say? He actually says to the character of Shu, he basically says, it's silly to try to chase after your exes right after you've broken up. Yep. But he doesn't say it like that. He says it in such a condescending gay best friend kind of way.
Without being overdone. Because, the second you kind of overdo it and make him go the absolute stereotype that we'll sometimes see, you would not believe his story as a Yakuza. Because that is a twist that kind of comes out of left field, but it's very believable how John pulls it off.
Yes.
Right. And there's a lot, and I don't know why, if that exactly plays into the bigger plot, because he's not one of the characters who gets any development. He's like he's the wisest person in the entire cast who can see through everyone's bullshit from behind the counter.
Yep. But like,
and yes, John has a ton of fun playing it up. Like, I love how he flips from being very proper to being like, he's got like a dorky evil laugh at one point at the characters, or he's just a lot of fun to have around.
Oh yeah, he's a fantastic character, and the performance I think is fantastic. And I can appreciate that they didn't go the route of like overdoing it or making him extremely flamboyant, like overdoing it. Like, yes, queen, not to that extent.
He does say that's some hot tea, though. That's still my favorite line in the show.
Yep. So I really appreciate that they didn't go that route, and it makes a lot more sense for the character in general, honestly.
When it comes to the writing, I think he got the best lines. Like, you could tell that Holly had a lot of fun writing that character.
Him and maybe Natsuo's friends. Like, one of the very first lines I fucking wrote down, to drop a deuce. Going to the bathroom to drop a deuce.
Gotta love boy potty humor.
I know. Like, but Marie definitely had a lot of fun lines. And in general, this was my absolute favorite character. Like, I'm not even rooting for fucking Natsuo or Hina or Rui. I'm rooting for Marie. This is the character I want to know right now. I don't care about anyone else.
And it was so sad at the end where he was talking about how his dad died from stage 4 cancer, and you're like, why weren't you the main character?
Because then it would be domestic boyfriend.
But
the
that
problem
would also,
with that is
there is zero problem.
Exactly.
I would have much rather have had domestic boyfriend.
So now we just need a spin-off. That's all we need right now. Make Marie the main character. Let's go over his actual backstory and figure out what happened. And just have him go on a journey of self-discovery.
I know you're listening.
So it's basically be like GTO, I guess, where he goes from being a hardcore badass gang member into a sweet-natured bartender.
Probably.
Nice.
10 out of 10 would prequel again.
Yes.
All right. So we talked about all our best boys. I need some side chick action now. Everybody needs a good side chick, right?
Absolutely.
So let's talk about the best girls in this show. Everyone can fight me.
Noah says the most enthusiastic about the side chick thing.
Let's talk about some side chicks, fam. We have Momo, played by Hilary
Haig.
Thank you. And we have Miyu, aka Book Girl, aka Best Girl.
Yes.
Fight Me,
played
by Lucy Christian.
Gigi, we went over this. I wouldn't fight you. She is the best girl.
I know she is the best girl. Noah might fight me because his best girl is Momo.
I'm sorry. I got to give it up for... She knits for people. She's such a sweetheart. And she knows what she's about. Miyu has some insecurities, which I can get that. A lot of people have insecurities. Momo has gotten over it. Like, she's got it put together. I would hang and bang with her any day of the week.
Oh... my God.
Let's be real, I would too. I love Momo. Momo's a good girl. She was my second best girl. So Hilary has also played Hajime in Pre-Tier, which nobody has watched except for me. Safu,
I can't watch it anywhere.
6.
I own Volume 1, but I haven't seen the whole thing yet.
It was on Funimation streaming. Did they take it off finally?
I don't think it's there anymore.
Oh, that sucks. It was on a couple months, possibly years ago. I don't know. It's been a while. Safu in number 6, which is also out of print, and Tessa in Full Metal Panic, which I haven't seen. Lucy Christian's played like everyone and her mom. She plays Chihaya in Chihaya Furu, aka one of my favorite anime of all time, Nagisa in Clannad, and also one of our Go in the Hallway partners, Miss Tsukasa in Devil's Line.
Also, the greatest character of all time, Duck.
Yes, from Princess Tutu.
Princess Tutu.
I'm also the only one who doesn't like Princess Tutu.
And that's why we didn't ask you to be on that episode.
There was an episode?
Exactly.
There was an episode in planning stage hell. It's been sitting in planning stage hell since the day we really started throwing shit together. This is
by the way,
no. This is some mini behind the scenes rant about how Dub Talk works. Like, we'll have some episode, like, likely if there's a show that you think we should cover, it's probably been in planning stage hell for a solid 3 or 4 years.
Let me get that list up here. Let me see. What's some of the Like, I'm not going to list them off here, but I'm just going to look through the list here of some of the older shows that have been in the playing stage. Yep. Oh, heck yeah.
No. Considering this is announced at this point, the last Exile episode, Roots has been wanting to do that for ages. Like, you have no idea.
That has been in the planning stage for so long. To the point that I think we had question marks next to it. Like,
yes.
Is this actually going to happen?
Are we actually doing this? This is how our lives work. Again, if there's an episode that you think we should do, we probably want to. It's just we haven't done shit with it since the day we thought about it, like 4 years ago.
I've been throwing around Vampire Night since we did Diabolic Lovers.
I know you did.
I think I'd only be down for that just for the excuse of watching it, to finally get it out of the way.
Look,
that's the only reason.
I watched Vampire Night for our other podcast last Halloween, and I can tell you right now, I cannot go through it again.
Yeah,
It's just that bad.
Vampire Night was I enjoyed it in high school. I rewatched it when a little bit after the dub came out, and then I suddenly realized this is garbage. The dub is not that good. It is rough.
I can compare that to a similar show where one of my first shows I saw was Elfen Lied, which is also very trashy.
Yes.
Oh God.
And here's the thing, I knew it was trash when I watched it, but I still liked it.
I knew it was trash
God.
too. I knew it was still trash too, and then I made myself go through it anyway. And here I am. I am not any better for it.
By the way, Gigi,
yes.
You are right. Pre-tier is still streaming on Funimation.
Okay.
I didn't know they had the rights to that because they've never re-released it on home video.
That's because nobody bought it but me. It's
well,
cute,
right.
and I once had that haircut. Fun fact. Anyways. All right. So, Miyu, best girl, book girl.
Best girl.
She's my favorite girl. There's a point in there where she's like blowing away David Wald's eyelash, and she goes,
right.
Sensei. And I was like, whoa, girl.
I am not entirely convinced that that's what they were actually doing. I think that was a bluff.
I'm not convinced either. It's not addressed ever again, but look here. Look, show, we know how you work at this point.
It's just the atmosphere. There are no decent adult figures except for the dad. The dad of the main character is the best guy ever, and I will absolutely curb.
No, the best male character is Marie. You get that fucking straight.
You're right. You are right. You're right. My point was that I was furious at the main character's biological mom because I was like, did she divorce this guy? Because if she divorced Akihito, I'm gonna curb stomp that woman. Luckily for her, she just died.
Yep, she passed away.
So she got out of that part.
She got out of the curb stomping from Noah. God damn it.
That is the only acceptable reason to leave this wonderful, wonderful man is death. That's it.
All right.
Oh, shit.
Well, I want to talk about my best girl some more.
Yep.
I just thought that Lucy played her so cutely and so innocently.
I loved it.
But there were also like points where she sounded very mature. Like it just sounded like an all-around well-rounded character, which again, like Reiji, like Marie, even I guess like Shu, is something that we needed kind of to anchor us in the anime at this point, because she comes in again towards the later
she comes in the same episode as Reiji's character comes in.
Yeah. And like by that point we kind of needed like some anchors. I swear to God, I saw her in the opening and I was like, this girl had better win. This girl had better win. And then she didn't win. And then my heart was broken.
About to say, she didn't win at the end of the show.
She was,
but she won over our hearts.
Exactly.
She was never a contender, though. Like I think she's the only girl of the main group that wasn't actively courting Natsuo throughout the show.
I think that's maybe why I liked her so much.
I think that's why I
liked her. I just wanted them to get together so badly. And I was just, honestly, because I got really into this show, I was really devastated when they didn't have the twist at the end and he got with Book Girl.
That would have been
that's
the best
in the alternative OVA.
That would have been the best ending.
They made OVAs where he got together with all of your favorite girls. Collect them all.
Oh my God.
That was just like Clannad.
Yeah, absolutely, just like Clannad. Except they never made a. Which was the character? They never made an OVA where he got together with a violin girl.
I hated that show. I don't remember it anyway. But for Momo, I thought Hillary's performance was so cute. And, like,
Yes.
I felt a lot for Momo. Like, I actually felt emotion from this performance, despite all the trash that had happened in her life. And I was like, this poor girl, like, I just want to hug her, and I want to take her little stuffed animals, and I want to, like, put them on my backpack, and I just want to be friends with her, because she got dealt a wrong hand. And I could feel that in the way that she was speaking. Like, you couldn't really tell, like, on the character's face, because she was totally trying to play it cool and play it off. And it kind of actually reminded me of Yamada from B Gotta HK, which, if you haven't seen that, go watch it on Funimation soon, because I have a feeling it's going to get expired really quickly. So go watch that anime.
I have it on home video.
I do too, but some people might not.
Look,
blasphemy!
Look here.
Next Valentine's Day.
Lilac, how dare you?
We could.
How dare you have not seen it? It's that. Well, I haven't seen it either. But how dare you have not seen it already?
No, you got that for a Secret Santa gift.
It was.
Look, like, I really, really liked Momo, and I loved how Hillary played her, and she was like a breath of fresh air to me.
Oh yeah.
After the fucking triangle that was going on between Natsuo, Hina, Rui, the whole friggin' first half of the show.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, once Momo came, I was like, oh, good, finally a good girl for him to get with. And then
I mean, he could have,
and then he didn't. And I was actually more proud of him for not getting with her.
Yeah.
But
kind of
performance-wise,
breaking the misconception of her character and the rumors for her. I really liked that bit between the two of them, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, this resonated with me a whole fucking lot, and I was just like, I was bawling. Chris was like, what the hell is wrong with you? I'm like, don't talk to me.
It's like, Momo is me. that's probably
like, you're gonna
Gigi's
cook me
response.
dinner?
This is
Girl.
me.
I was like, remember that time you made me waffles?
That's what this is right now. He's like, Itchy, you asshole, this is me. Don't mess. Like, let me have my moment. Let me have my time to shine.
You put those waffles in the oven and everything. You didn't just use a toaster.
Oh, god damn it.
God damn it.
Let this be a lesson to all of you single ladies out there. Get you a man who can make real waffles, not one who just uses the toaster. You are better than the toaster.
Andrew,
Every
I
one
hope
of
you're
you.
listening to what Noah just said. It means you gotta learn how to make waffles.
Andrew, your girl is better than the toaster.
Learn how to make actual waffles,
Like
sweetie, and then we'll talk.
Andrew, feed your girl or I'll do it for you, and you don't want me to do that.
Oh, snap.
But I agree. I think Momo was best girl in just the sense that she had the most going for her. Like she was more complex, I think, than Miyu was. I really shouldn't compare the two of them, because just because we're talking about them together doesn't mean they were competing against each other. They seem to be good friends by the end of the show. Like, everyone gets along pretty well. I do admit a tiny part of me is wondering if I just gravitated towards Momo because her character design of short with orange pigtails just reminded me a lot of You from Bloom Into You, which was like one of my favorite shows from last year. That the residualness of that may have just rubbed off when I saw Momo's character design. But for real, Hillary's performance of this was just acting circles around some of the other girls. And like, I've heard Hillary in a lot of stuff before. She's been around a long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got like this, I mean, to have all of your high school girls sound the same would be boring. We don't want that. And to be fair, they didn't cast actors who all sounded the same. For Hillary, she has this slight rasp and a soft voice, and it dips up and down with a natural enthusiasm. It's the kind of acting where I forgot I was listening to a dub.
Yeah.
That is how
I know,
good
honestly,
Hillary
I
is
couldn't believe that.
handling.
Yay.
Yeah. And now her content of, I didn't like the fact that I thought they were going to introduce her as a way to break up the stereotype that girls who have a lot of sex are not to be slut-shamed, which they do kind of break that a little bit. They introduce that, yes, she has been with many guys before, and that there's nothing wrong with that. However, they sort of backpedal on that because, one, they attribute it to she's got a broken past, not that you can be a normal person and still have a lot of casual sex, and there's nothing wrong with that. And also, they don't really develop her past that. Once she's introduced in episode 6, she kind of takes a backseat to the rest of the characters.
Which is a shame.
Right. But honestly, Hillary is great in this. And Lucy is also very good as Miyu. her character is, we get a lot of flavors of Lucy, and it's impossible to not tell it's Lucy in her role. Like, I think she's got a very distinct voice that I can usually pick up on. This is less manic Lucy. We ordered her with slightly less manic this time. She's geared towards the formal side without being hushed, and she gets her best moments when, I think it's the second to last episode, where she doesn't win the literature contest that she submitted her work for.
No, you know what this performance reminds me of is when Lucy was in School Live, where I almost couldn't tell that it was her.
Have not watched School Live.
I mean, she was Shovel Girl in that show, right?
No, she was like the responsible one.
Oh, okay. Oh wait, no. Shovel Girl was
Juliet Sims.
Thank you.
I think.
Yep.
Juby Phonic.
Yeah, Juliet Simmons. Yeah, that. But yeah, I maybe it's just that I've heard Lucy in so many things, and she's like one of my favorite voice actresses that it's very easy to tell for me when I hear her. But for putting her in this role here, I like the fact that a lot of times Lucy will be in a show and just be amazing at just being a naturally fun female character voice. Like, there was nothing overly dynamic about this. I didn't need an overly over-the-top Shakespearean comedic actor to make Miyu great. Lucy just made me like her by just being her.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Hooray.
Yeah. Now, I don't think she doesn't really get too much development after just being the president of the literature club, which I'm a sucker for shows that have writers in it. Like, I loved Brittany Karbowski's character in Bloom Into You. There's another show I'm watching that has a writer character in it, and I'm a kind of a sucker for that. So I do have a little soft spot for Mio and her writer pursuit.
Yay.
It's just a shame that she doesn't get with the boy at the end.
She's the best girl.
But she's too good for this boy. She curb stomps him down the stairs.
For Natsuo. This is fair.
He should have taken him out. I was like, okay, yes, you knocked him off the stairs. You broke his leg. Yes. Hire this woman for national assassination attempt.
God damn it.
That's not going to date this episode at all.
Oh, God. All right, so we talked about our side chicks. I guess we got to talk about our triangle of shame, and then we're done. Shocker.
So we want to put all three of them together, or we just want to go sister? Okay.
Yeah.
Nope. I want my three-way. Don't take this away from me.
Lock the door.
I waited the whole anime for my three-way, and I never got it.
But it is Valentine's Day. I guess I'll let you have this.
Thank you, Seth.
But Gigi, two of them are related
by blood.
Who
the fuck cares? The show certainly didn't.
Who cares? Who the fuck cares?
Just jump.
You can't tell me I'm wrong.
Just jump into the dumpster and swim around.
Just jump into the dumpster. Just enjoy the nice warm toasty fire in there. You know, the smell of the garbage.
Marshmallows, they're sticky and white.
Oh, man.
Okay.
God damn it.
So I don't even know what order to put these people in. I guess I'll put in the girl I forgot first. Her name is Hina, and she's played by Patricia Duran. I'm looking through this list right now, and I've never seen anything that she's done.
I know she's in Doreku. You can just list a few things. I've seen her in Doreku, though.
So
she's also in Review Starlight.
She was Riko in Bloom Into You. She was Julia in Doreku, which I guess I have seen like half of that. And I thought it was going to be trashier than it was, and it wasn't that bad. And then she also plays Hikaru in Review Starlight. Mm-hmm. So this is basically the first time I've heard her do anything, because I don't remember Doreku. Probably that's for the best.
It's probably for the best, because I have watched the whole thing.
I started watching it with Chris, and then for some reason we never finished it. I wonder why.
It's probably for the best.
Bet that's happened a bunch of times.
Is it Rui?
How many shows do you have on your paused list on your My Anime list?
Do you really want to know? Okay,
yes.
Hold on.
She's looking it up.
Wait. Let's make this a Clerks reference. I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours.
Daddy. Okay. Do you want to take a guess?
Okay, I'll take a guess. With the number of shows that you have started but haven't finished, I'm going to guess it's somewhere in the 50s range.
I'm going to shoot for 100.
What's my password?
She's like, I can't even tell you.
Hold, please.
1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, wow, my password too.
God damn it.
Okay, I'm pulling up Annie
All right,
list right
here
now
we
because
go.
I gotta find out.
In my currently watching list, I currently have 420 anime
Currently watching.
that I have not finished. Yes.
Holy shit.
See, I figured it at least had to be triple digits. See, Noah, you were underestimating this.
You are right. I am so sorry. I bow to the master of not finishing stuff.
But my completed is
Teach me, master.
474. So I've almost like sort of watched 1,000 anime.
Have you ever shown Itchy the shows that you started but haven't finished, and has he ever tried
No,
to
I
make
don't-
you finish them?
I don't think so, babe. Babe, don't look at that list.
Itchy, you should totally look at that list. Make her watch some of that shit. I don't even know what you have that you haven't even finished.
Absolutely.
I mean,
We are sorry
you-
for the
Here,
small
I'm gonna go
tangent
through the list
right
here.
now, but this is kind of amusing to me. I'm in.
so we're going to talk about Rui, who is played by Miss Natalie Rial. She plays Sumie in Real Girl, Bino Bando in Amagi Brilliant Park, and Hina in my teen romantic comedy Snafu. I've seen her in Real Girl. I've seen her in heard her in Amagi Brilliant Park. That's another one that me and Chris started that we haven't
This
finished.
is the first time I'm hearing Natalie, actually.
Likewise,
And then we have our boy.
God damn
our boy,
the man whore
our
himself.
boy Natsuo, Holler at your Natsuo, played by Mr. Austin Tyndall, who plays Masahiro in Hitori Jime My Hero, episode coming soon. Remember that list we talked about? Yeah, that's
A
on
list
there
that's
too.
been in planning hell. This is one of them, yes.
Suna in My Love Story, and our favorite Herlock Sholmes from Code Realize.
God damn it. That name is the
I
bane
know,
of my
right?
existence.
It's the literal worst. You know who else is the literal worst? Natsuo.
Natsuo. You know why he's a little worse? You know why he's the literal worst? Because he has 2 gorgeous women under his roof, and he screws both of them. And I'm not just talking the sexual way, I'm talking about the emotional way. This man whore toys with their emotions. He breaks his leg and decides, I'm going to go shack up with the teacher. But then he's like, but in the end of the show, I'm actually going to get back with the girl who I lost my virginity to because we met each other and we were bored. That is a man
Were
whore
we
who
watching
deserves
the
to be
same
pushed
show?
out.
Yeah, we were watching the same show, Noah.
Because he definitely still hung up with the teacher at the end.
Yeah.
No, at the very, very end.
He's still hung up on
After-
on Hina at the end, though.
No, he's hung up on her, but he could have just said, "Okay, I'm not gonna hook up with anyone at the end of this." And what's the very last thing we see being done as the credits roll in the final episode?
Hina
I don't
Hina
remember.
at
I
her
watched
new
this
school?
2 months ago.
Hina at her new school?
She cut her
She
hair.
cut her
Okay.
hair?
I remember
Besides
that.
the fact she cut her hair, we see Natsuo and Ryu getting back together for what she says is one last time.
I must have missed that entirely because of the rage I had at the read the manga ending.
Yeah, it kind of
It was pretty
kinda
egregious.
Just stops. Like legit, this is how the
Which
show.
again,
This is how the show ends. All right, spoilers, but who the fuck cares? So Natsuo wins this grand prize, award of sorts for his writing for a story he wrote about his feelings for Hina to help kind of get everything out there for himself and like a therapy.
A novel that's called, may I point out, Well, See You.
But so
Little on the nose.
After he wins this award, he goes back home and Rui's there waiting for him. He tells Rui, "Hey, I won this award," and she's all excited about it. But then the immediate thing that
Wait,
happens is that she decides, "Oh, we're gonna have sex now." And the last image of the two of them is Rui on top of him, like giving him some small little one-liner, and then it cuts away to Hina at her new school, and like that's it.
Well, the thing you gotta point out is that there's one thing you missed, was the fact that when he came back from winning the award, he ran into Rui, but she had a wig on, and he thought that she was Hina.
I'm talking about the last,
because she was
bit of thing that's there before we cut to Hina. I'm not even talking about that. Yes, that is a thing, but still, it's like it's right before something actually happens, and then it cuts away, and then it's done. That's the end.
I'm saying it's significant because clearly Rui wants to be like Hina, and Hina cuts her hair at the end of the show to look like Rui. So clearly the two of them want to be each other. That's the point.
Oh my god, fuck this fucking show.
You right.
I hate it.
It would enjoy it.
I hate it so much. All right, let's talk about these dub people.
Wait.
All right,
say we didn't go over who has Austin Tindo played in the past. Real quick.
I already said that.
She said it already.
Yeah.
Oh,
we were too busy rage quitting.
Mobby.
Well, apparently you missed that. Natsuo missed
Herlock
Sholmes.
Yeah.
I forgot I raged about that for a second.
Herlock Sholmes.
Jesus Christ. Right. Well, Stephanie has now earned the title of worst girl, just like Rui. Oh, was that my hot take? That was my hot take. Oh God!
They're both
in this video essay.
They're both
I will.
girls. Who are we fucking kidding?
Hina is okay. Okay.
Okay. To be fair, Hina at least tries to not go there with Natsuo.
Well, I mean, their characters aside, this is my thing with the conscious dub choices. Okay, if it was a conscious choice to make Rui sound so flat and so dry that you have to wonder why she didn't end up with Natsuo because they're both so flat and so dry, that I'm just like, okay, what the fuck's going on? Like, their performances matched really well together, because Austin Tyndall is the person that I always, go with, is one of the most dry actors. And that's not a diss. I'm just saying, in like almost every role that Austin Tyndall has, it sounds dry, which is fine. That's what his voice is. He's a cool dude. I've met him multiple times, and I was the first person to have him sign the Hitori Jime My Hero cover, which was his best performance ever. But I digress. That's not this episode. Not that I'm bitter or anything.
Wow.
Natsuo, like Austin Tyndall, like he sounded like an extra dry martini, except for the super over dramatic comedic parts, which I just wanted to use those all the time. Like,
oh no.
No,
Imagine. This is like, oh, okay, so he does have, he plays up the comedic moments really well. Like, there are scenes where he has to break his regular, flat male teen voice, and he has to go way over the top like this and trying to be, like, over exaggerated for whatever reason. And, like, he seems, there's, like, little scenes where he's, like, talking to himself about how this is bad, I can't control myself. And it's, like, really, like, the funnier parts of the show, because that's how some high school boys act. So when you talk about the drier moments, they were reserved for the parts where it was supposed to be more melodramatic. So I wouldn't say it was bad casting or even bad acting. That's exactly what the character was supposed to sound like in those scenes.
Well, see, that's where I'm going with this. Like, if this was a conscious choice to make everybody sound dry and weird and awkward, then he and Natalie did it perfectly. Because Natalie, for the most part, Rui is supposed to be tsundere. So, like, eventually tsunderes get kind of awkward and cute and, like, funny and, like, I don't love you, Baka. I never got that.
Because I don't think she's actually supposed to be tsundere.
I think she is supposed to be tsundere.
I don't think so.
There's one key clue that shows that she's not supposed to be tsundere. You know what it is?
What's that?
She has no pigtails.
Oh, get out.
No tsundere can exist without pigtails.
No, what's her face from that anime that I don't like didn't have pigtails?
Oh, you mean that
Toradora.
one? Or the other one?
Toradora is a huge argument against that, first of all. And I haven't even watched Toradora.
That's a good point. You're right. I'm being facetious, but you're right. That is good.
But I don't think
even in the show, I don't think Rui is supposed to be, because she's got a lot of external baggage that she's supposed to be more like a Daria character, like the old MTV show. She's supposed to be more of the, like, the world is dark and cynical.
I don't even see Daria. I don't see that.
I don't think so. I think she's supposed to be a tsundere, and I don't hear it in the voice. Like, I never got the cute flip, and I wanted to root for her. I couldn't, because I was just like, they're just gonna like get together and be like walls together and like talk to each other like they're talking to a wall. Like I couldn't do it. Like, but that's good if that were a conscious choice to have them directed to speak that way.
Here's the problem. We talked earlier at the beginning about how this show is difficult to direct because the tone is a little difficult to nail down. Natalie as Rui doesn't have any funny moments. There's like maybe one little scene where she gets flustered because she realizes little sister, because they're arguing over who's the older one, and she realizes I'm a couple of months younger, so she has like this
all pouty and flustered. She does have a few,
which is why I think tsundere.
That does fit into the archetype, but she never has any light alleviant moments. Everything about her performance is heavy. She has no fun moment, she has no laughing moments, and because of that, they decided to direct her to be consistently like that. Her voice doesn't modulate, it doesn't go up and down like some of the other female actors do, and I do think that was a conscious choice.
Okay, then
was it a good choice? Thing. I don't think so. I agree with you, Gigi.
Choice,
this is by far the weakest performance. This is by far the weakest of any of the roles of the performances in the show. And I feel like it was a direction thing more than it was an acting thing.
For me, I'm gonna be a bit of a dissenter. I don't think this is the absolute weakest performance. Honestly, some of the background characters are probably the weakest performances. Anyway,
that's not fair.
I digress, though.
You cannot point to the little boy with the lollipop who clearly sounds like a 40-year-old woman and say, okay, that's the worst performance. That's not fair.
Here's the thing. That kid is adorable. He will be my son. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Have you discussed this with the cast of Promised Neverland?
No, because Phil is my son. I had him first.
Yeah, Phil is Gigi's son. Ray is my son.
And now for a new book called Phil Has Two Mommies Now.
Ray and Phil are my two sons, but Gigi will forever call dibs on Phil as her son. That's why I have Ray.
Yes.
No, but like, I don't think I have as much of an issue with Natalie's performance as Rui. I understand completely where both of you are coming from with this. And it is not one of the stronger performances, I don't think anyway. But I found it tolerable, but I think it's more because keeping in mind that she's not socially awkward is not the best way to describe it. She's socially inept. There's the phrasing I'm looking for here. She is rather socially inept, and she can be very blunt sometimes. Reminds me of me, where I will be brutally honest for no reason. But
and I'm sure that resonated with a lot of people who could remember being like that, boys and girls alike. Maybe not to the point that you went out and banged the first guy that came along, but still to the point that you're like, I'm kind of damaged. And her distress seems to kind of come from the fact that her dad, her biological father, had a mistress, which that can screw you up a little bit. But that doesn't play into her emotion on an acting level. There's not a whole lot of range when she has to get really, really downtrodden. There's still that listless flatness to it, even in like the really hard scenes in episodes 10, 11, and 12, like in the rain scene with the I'm gonna hate you forever.
I understand that, but we also know extremely early on that she is not that social. She's not that social. She doesn't really have good social skills. So I think that's part of the part of it that plays into the character and probably into the performance as well. So that part of her character was kind of always in the back of my mind, which is probably why I was able to tolerate is not the greatest word, but I could follow and kind of understand it a little bit better than you two probably did. Again, it's not my favorite, but I don't think it's quite one of the weakest ones. It's kind of in the middle for me, I think. It's weird for me to say that, but I think it's more in the middle. It does tell me the performance, at least, I think is good enough given the material she has. The direction obviously could have been a little bit different. But at the very least, at the end of the day, I'm very curious to know what else Natalie is capable of. So
I've never heard her sound like this in anything else that I've heard her in.
Which is why I geared towards saying that this was more of a direction thing than an acting thing, because she's clearly got a little more range than what we got out of this. It was just a bit of a difficult role for them to not to cast, but to tell her what to do throughout it.
Right, and which is why I'm saying if this were a conscious direction choice, then she's doing it perfectly, as is Austin Tyndall.
I feel like it is a conscious choice. I feel like it is.
Just in the same way that Patricia, like switch over to Patricia's, like her performance was also very deliberate. It's this very, in a stark contrast to Natalie, Patricia's was given like this lighter voice. She's got this, there's like almost a bit of a snarky side to her that's not condescending, but clearly someone who thinks of herself a little bit higher than the younger characters around her. But that plays into her downfall, as it were. She gradually learns, maybe I do like younger guys after all.
Well, like, I thought she sounded very flighty, but it definitely works with the character because she's so confused over her clear adulterous relationship with Shu that she shouldn't be in, to her, oh my gosh, I like my student, shouldn't do that either.
Right.
Like, it's hard for her to adult, and she's one of the older characters in the show.
Like,
and I could hear that through the performance, which is good.
Yeah, I can absolutely relate to what she's going through, and, like, her own, like, personal wish fulfillment of, like, oh, Shu is gonna leave his wife, we are gonna be together forever. But then, like, I really liked the conversation that she had a little bit later on after she broke off with Shu, of like, I that she came to the realization that if he really wanted to be with her, he would have left his wife by now.
Yes.
So that whole piece, I fully believed in Patricia's performance on that one. So I think the flightiness actually, it does work in her favor, absolutely, because she's trying to adult like the rest of us, and she doesn't.
She's me.
She's me.
God, I hope not to an extreme extent, Gigi.
Well, I mean, to the fact that, like, she gets drunk a lot and she cries a lot.
No.
It's
also
like
me.
Hina's concept of love and relationships, because we were talking about earlier about their dad having an affair, and that's why their parents got divorced in the first place. Like, I think that does play an effect on how she views relationships. Because remember, she mentioned to, I think it was Natsuo, how it was either her or Rui. One of them, I want to say it was Hina, was saying, like, I've always thought of my dad as being an awful human being for doing this to my mom. I think it was Hina. But then she discovered, like, Shu, and just realizing, this is my first love, I couldn't help this. You know what I mean? And that she was willing to go to that extent for him. Hina is, in terms of characters, Hina is definitely one of the most complex ones, because she does have a lot of this stuff going on with her. And I think, given the material and all these different things that she has to go through in this through line, like, I think Patricia does really well with everything on it, honestly.
Here's another point that I want to bring up. I feel that she's more believable and the performance is more believable when she's with Natsuo or talking about Natsuo with Natsuo, because I feel like when she's trying to be an adult, and this is my air quotes, and when she's doing stuff that, is in the adult world, she just kind of sounds awkward. Well, like, when she, jumped on top of him, like, on the bed or whatever, and ripped his shirt open, and then she was like, haha, nope, sucker, like, you're too young for this.
Tear those buttons
I
off.
know, right? Well, that was a fantasy that I've had.
But you want a girl to jump on top of you and rip your buttons off?
I mean, reverse it.
You want to rip another girl's buttons off?
Never mind. Just stop. Don't get me in trouble.
I'm not judging. I had that dream myself.
You are digging a hole for yourself right now, bud.
I feel like the performance was like less believable then, but again, could also be a conscious directing choice because she was in love with Natsuo the whole time. Like she was just trying to fool herself. So I think every time she tries to adult, it sounds awkward. Which again, if it's a conscious choice, was a good choice.
I kind of feel
if it was an accident, I don't know.
The one thing I'm going to say about they had a bit of a crappy situation to work with as far as dubbing, because I did not buy Hina's affection for Natsuo and how it was supposedly developed throughout the entire show.
Either, ever.
I mean, there's a lot of shows, especially harem shows, where a girl develops affections for the girl, or vice versa, guys develop for the girl, and kind of comes out of nowhere. It's like you do one good deed for another character, and all of a sudden they're like, I gotta get me a piece of that. I don't entirely get what it was that Hina saw in Natsuo. It's just the fact that he's the only non-sleazeball person that she's tried to date in her life. I don't know. But whatever it was, that was something that in the dubbing world, they had to try to make as convincing as possible. And they did that by giving Hina a slightly younger sounding voice than what she's supposed to be. Because she's supposed to be old enough to drink. She's supposed to be old enough to have a teaching job. So she's obviously in her early 20s. Patricia sounds even younger than Natalie does.
Yes.
Hina's voice sounds younger than Rui does. And that's supposed to be a way for them to kind of match the character design and how the character acts. I get that. I'm wondering if it may have been more believable if she had been given a slightly older sounding voice. If she had actually sounded like someone who has been through as much hardship as she claims she's been through.
Here's what I'm going to say in terms of... because this might actually kind of play into this conversation, actually. Going back to when she's trying to be an adult, it doesn't sound like it. When you're in your earlier mid-20s and you try to act like an adult, let's be real here. Everybody thinks that they're an adult and they come off that way and have this kind of persona or tone of voice to them that kind of comes off like that. And I think... with that in mind, I think that's what they were going with for Hina, to an extent.
Maybe, but that's not quite what the show was about.
I know that's not quite what the show was about, but I think that's what the dub decided to go with. I think. That's my opinion and my take on it.
I mean, that's certainly a justification for it. I didn't listen to the Japanese, so I don't know which archetype they used for Hina. I don't know what Love Hina's archetype was in the Japanese to the point that she maybe sounded more convincing. Yeah. But the fact is, this is a sleazy show meant to appeal to people who want to see a guy get with multiple girls. And you know what? Let's tap into that incest is wincest crowd at the same time. We got it. Now let's have some fun with it. There's low scrutiny as long as you hit the beats. And for what we got, writing-wise, this is exactly the wish fulfillment that I think a lot of people gravitated towards.
You know, one other thing I want to make before we kind of wrap this up is that with Japanese seiyuu, if you're a female, a lot of the characters are supposed to be really soft-spoken and really quiet, and they have like a monotone voice, and they kind of sound like this. So this is how it's going to sound like for the whole character, which...
I mean, for a lot of high school students, I feel like there's some archetypes that are a lot louder, obviously.
So, like, when you go back to Rui and you're like, oh, like, I could totally, like, you can hear it in the Japanese, but it's harder for us to hear that kind of thing in English without it sounding kind of stilted.
Yeah, so I think what they tried to do
it's like,
more than likely then they probably tried to make it similar to the Japanese, but it was very difficult to direct it. Maybe.
All right. Well,
yeah.
Domestic Girlfriend has clearly confused all of us, just like it's confused Natsuo and Hina and Rui and Momo and Miyu and everybody else in this show, because the friggin' relationship geometry is like a fucking quadrilateral rhomboid octagon, whatever. I don't know.
Except Ryuji. He knows exactly what he is.
Ryuji knows exactly what he is, and we love him for it.
Damn
and
straight.
Marie too.
Sandals and all.
Marie.
And Marie. So
the actual adults have got it together.
So final thoughts on this dub and the show. Honestly,
don't watch it.
No, hold on. Go back.
Like, if you like trash piles, if you like the melodrama that I like, it's a show that you will scream at and you will question these characters' life choices and whatever. I thoroughly enjoyed watching Domestic Girlfriend until the very end, but I didn't like the dub. So, I mean, I liked parts of it, but the parts that I didn't like outweighed the parts that I liked. And that is
because... And again, you're just talking about the dub,
just
right?
Just the dub. So, okay. I mean, and that's personal preference.
Right.
Like, if it was a conscious choice to make the characters sound the way that they sounded, they did it right. And that's good directing choices and good acting choices. Personally, I didn't like listening to it. But that's a personal preference. Like, you know, it's not like you did bad or he did bad or she did bad or whatever. I thought it was awkward. And like about 4 episodes in, I wanted to switch to the subtitles, but I couldn't because I knew we were doing this episode.
You
and
knew
so I was like, okay,
you
I'll
wanted to do this episode, Gigi.
I was not the one who picked this episode. You know who picked this episode? Megan.
Was it Megan? It was.
Yeah.
The person who wasn't able to jump in.
Of all the people who wasn't able to do it. Well, thank you, Megan. No, for real, Megan. Absolutely. I'm going to be sincere. This isn't the kind of show I normally go for. Like, I wasn't a big fan of Scum's Wish, and there's a lot of other, like, overly problematic romance shows that I'm just not a big fan of. This was interesting in the fact that it played with its archetypes in a way that held my interest throughout the entire 12-episode show. I was never bored watching any episode. Each one had interesting things happen. The crap animation was not great, but it's okay because the funny dialogue kept me really entertained throughout. And by the end of it, I wasn't even mad that we got a non-conclusive conclusion.
I was. Fuck that ending.
And that's fair.
But, you know, all things being said, you know, personally, just like remember when we watched Amnesia and I didn't like Amnesia either, the dub for Amnesia? This is kind of how I feel here. Like, conscious choices, non-conscious choices, whatever they were, personally, I'd switch. But, you know, they did a good job with what they were doing, directing, acting, writing. They did it, and they got their paychecks, and I'm glad for that. Like, it's just not something that I would want to watch again.
I'm gonna say
the dub.
I'm gonna say this. When I was saying don't watch it earlier, let me clarify. If you are not comfortable with incestual relationships, student-teacher relationships, infidelity kind of deals, things like that, you're not gonna like this show. Okay? Straight up bat. If those are subjects that you don't like, whether it's for personal reasons or anything else, don't watch the show right off the bat. The show itself is a garbage dumpster fire.
But it embraces it.
It does embrace it. The dub itself, it's a mishmash, I think. Mishmash, whatever, however the fucking word goes. A lot of sounds in there. Like, I like what they tried to do with it. I can see the conscious effort that's being put into it. But there are pieces where, like Gigi and Noah are saying, we don't know if it's a conscious choice, or if it maybe was an accident, or something else happened. However, unlike Gigi, who doesn't like the dub, I was okay with it. I was at least tolerable of what was going on, given everything happening. For some people, you might be put off by the dub. Some people might think this is their favorite fucking thing in the world. That's personal preference, though. That's your own choice, that's your own opinion, and that's perfectly fine. I just think it's okay. I think it's serviceable, and I think it's tolerable. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but it's tolerable. That's my opinion. But again, if you're going to decide to watch Domestic Girlfriend, the only reason why you should watch Domestic Girlfriend is Marie. That's it. The only thing we should care about in this show is Marie. Nothing else. He is the best character.
He was the best part. We are going to get that spinoff.
Please.
Like, we will bug Diomedia until we get that.
I want to know more about him.
Deserved. Great bartender Misaki. That is coming out next season.
I like it.
Let's
10
go.
out of 10.
Go, bitches. Make it happen, Japan. We will buy it. Buy it, and then we'll have John Gramillion back. Oh, hell yeah. Let's go.
All right. Mr.
So
Clue,
the big question, the final question.
Yeah. Did this show drive you to drink?
It did not, and I'm so disappointed because I had a character who, did a lot of drinking. This show did not insult my intelligence because, and I feel like I've said this before, it felt like it knew exactly what it wanted to be. I've said this before, but Diomedia shows tend to be really enjoyable in the moment and then totally forgettable by the end of it. And I feel like that's what this is. This is good, disposable popcorn material that gets really heavy near the end, gets really, much heavier than I think it probably, it gets heavier than some people may be comfortable with. But I think by that point, you're kind of locked in with the dynamic of some of the characters. Home any awards anytime soon. It's not going to be winning a BAFTA or anything, but it will entertain you this Valentine's Day. So if you find yourself alone and you need someone in it, some of us are desensitized to it. We're okay with a little good old-fashioned sister banging.
Finger bang, bang, bang every night.
No. Ladies and gentlemen, if you feel alone this Valentine's Day, we have something to comfort you. This girl Hina over here. She comes in. She comes very much handy.
And
I slid the joke in at the last minute.
That's a mic drop.
Megan's joke.
Let me get my
hadn't
microphone.
brought it up, so there we go. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this Valentine's Day. I like how I'm just slipping into a sultry advertisement voice right now.
Welcome to the ASMR portion of Dub Talk.
Welcome to our ASMR channel. Today, we meet Hina. She comes in very handy. Jesus Christ.
Speaking of ASMR, Steph just sent me a list of all these current Dub Talk patrons.
Yeah.
Please join our Patreon, and you can hear more ASMR like this, because I only do this for money. Or if you're my boyfriend.
Yes.
What are these?
But you gotta do it in a seductive tone.
Do I just read these names?
So this is how long.
Look, I haven't even done an episode when we've had a Patreon.
This is how long it's been since Gigi's done an episode. Okay, so we do have a Patreon, and if you are a patron, we thank you so much for your continued support, and especially thank you to our $5 and $10 Patreons, Crimson Echidna, Michelle Travis, Nico Robin, but with Yowie hands, Carly Lesticow, Jacob Wilson, J2 aka Jared, Marco Bermudez, Marissa Lenti, and Weeby. You guys are amazing.
Excellent.
There you go. I did your job for you. You're welcome.
Well, since Steph didn't even ASMR the Dub Talk patrons, let me tell you that you can watch Domestic Girlfriend on High Dive. Go to highdive.com right now and sign up for a trial subscription. Or just pay for it like the rest of us.
Or you can buy it, I believe, on home video soon, right?
Nope, not yet.
Not yet, darn it.
Not yet. Can't buy this shit. You can only stream it. Stream that trash. Forget about it later.
God damn it. Bitch, why aren't you on more episodes right now? I miss you.
My February's getting loaded. Y'all better put your name in my calendar real fast.
Man.
My birthday episode's practically full. So
oh man.
Yeah, I didn't even say nothing to nobody. They just came to me. Come to me, people. Come to me. Anyways, happy Valentine's Day. We hope you're spending it with us along with the ones that you love and the ones who love you. And remember that we love you. Damn it.
Gigi, you're forgetting another important part.
What?
Who the fuck are we, and what do we do, and how do we, and where do you find us and shit?
Well, my name is Anime Palooza. You can find me at the show. Oh, wait, that's my other podcast.
Whoops. I mean, you can still promote it.
Oh, well, no, I'm just joking. So this is Dub Talk. You can find us on the interwebs at Dub Talk Podcast on Twitter, on YouTube at Dub Talk with the custom URL. So YouTube/C/Dub Talk. You can also find us probably on Tumblr, on Twitch, if anybody still plays that shit, or if anybody still posts on Tumblr. Instagram, do you guys still do that? Who knows? And Patreon. Patreon.com/dubtalkpodcast.
Yes, and then we also have our Ko-fi account as well.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what that is. Give us money.
Yeah. Kanashimi.
So there's that. You can give us money in many ways. I don't know what we do with it. Like I said, I haven't been on an episode since July.
You're just here for the ride at this point.
I'm just here for the lulz. I'm here for the ride from Sensei Reiji. I don't know where I am.
Just click the link. We'll links below. See the link, the sausage links, the sausage links. I also have a YouTube channel, which is No Clue, or the URL is Journey Traveler. I'm currently actually scripting something for the end of 2019. Lo and behold, I may actually be doing something with this cartoon encyclopedia brain, rather than just sitting on it and using it to argue with people on Twitter.
Gigi goes by Anime Palooza and does shit. We have Noah Clue, who you can follow on Twitter at Noah Clue, and he does shit. And I'm Stephanie, aka Lilac, and I'm on Twitter at Lilac. Excuse me, I'm on Twitter at Lilac Anime Review. Review spelled REVUE, and I also do shit.
You can also follow my other podcast at Shoujo Trash Show. Show is spelled with a U. Show is spelled with a... Wait, hold on. At Shoujo Trash Show. Shoujo is spelled with a U. Put it in the down bar. Put it in the show notes, bitches. Guys, guess what I'm doing for Valentine's Day?
Go to Disney World, fuckers.
Oh, we know who you're doing for Valentine's Day, but go on.
We're going to see the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Oh my god!
Oh.
We're putting a ring on it.
Oh my god! That's amazing. Look, I'm not even celebrating Valentine's Day till probably 2 weeks later because I have 2 shows 2 weekends in a row, alright?
Oh god, it's so we're going on a Disney cruise for our anniversary, and then a couple of weeks later it's Valentine's Day.
Anyway,
you lucky people with disposable income.
Shut up.
I hate you so much.
What are you doing for Valentine's Day, Noah?
My Valentine's Day is probably going to be taking my wife out to a very nice steakhouse, because if there's one thing that I know about taking care of my wife, it's that you gotta get steak for her.
She likes meat.
That she does.
God damn it.
I was gonna make a bit of a reference about the color of it being a little darker than normal.
We didn't even finish the episode proper at this stage.
No,
I was pretty done.
We'll still be recording until Valentine's Day actually gets here.
I'm ready to go in my bed with my Viktor Nikiforov body pillow.
I'm ready to go to my bed as well. If anybody wants to know what I'm doing for Valentine's Day, I have a show that I gotta freaking work on. That's my Valentine's Day. Though
working girls.
I know, but
yeah.
I think what Andrew and I are planning is my sister for Christmas got us tickets to see Beetlejuice on Broadway.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Yeah, and because it closes in June, and Andrew were like, we gotta try and see that. So my sister got us tickets. So and it's the last weekend in February that we're going. So we might do a late Valentine's Day thing with that.
That's cute.
Nice.
So, but anyway.
That's cute. Taking this time to shout out the boy who has kept me in the cage. Thank you.
Can we finally be let out?
No.
I'd like to see the sunshine again,
Noah,
please.
You're here forever. You know this.
So Andrew has a key, Jenny has a key, Itchy has a key. Megan somehow got out. Roots was
let
really
her
nice
out.
to her.
Roots let her out.
Roots is a good boy.
Roots is a very good boy. We can't be mad at Roots.
Yes.
Roots actually makes real waffles. That's the kind of guy
That's why we can't be mad at him. He makes real waffles.
Do you like waffles? Do you like waffles?
So the other lesson of the night. No. The other lesson of the night. Apparently, boys, men, if you really want to impress a girl, you gotta learn how to make actual waffles.
Mine were Mickey
So
shaped.
again, going back to the conversation from earlier, Andrew, you got some work to do.
I'm gonna take that boy aside. I'm gonna take him into my kitchen, and we are gonna food wars his ass until he is a prime chef man for his woman.
Go right ahead.
They also had sprinkles.
Oh my god. Can we finish the episode, please? We've been rambling for like 5 more minutes for no reason. I love it, but still.
We gotta get to a full 2 hours. It's our contractual obligation.
We are at a full 2 hours, Noah. What the fuck are you talking about?
Don't worry, I'll edit at least a half hour out of this.
You gotta keep.
You know I like to cut shit.
That you do. Just like Momo.
All right. Hey. All right, friends, fans, and fam. Thank you again for listening to us on Dub Talk. We hope you have a happy holiday. And
happy holiday.
I'm not saying whatever. I'm not saying fuck. I'm not saying Steph's catchphrase, but love your faces.
Aloha.
Good night, everyone, and otaku on my friends.
ASMR voices for the win.
ASMR voice. ASMR voices for the win, for sure.
Oh
yes.
Happy Valentine's Day.